Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. Are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And if you're feeling charitable, please smash the subscribe button and the like button, and please follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMad. And welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCEU Daily, and you, of course, are very, very welcome. What a release the Snyder Cut event we had yesterday, on the very day that Warner Brothers and Warner Media were launching and confirming their 17th of May or 18th of May release date for HBO Max. Wow, wow, wow. Many Snyder fans quote tweeting and commenting on every kind of HBO Max post, them showing off about their content. Pretty much we were telling them we won't subscribe until they announced that the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, will actually be on HBO Max. Wow. And it was successful. What did we get? 20k, 40k tweets. It was amazing. Well done, everyone. The frog in the throat's back again. Sorry, I'm having a very, very bad day. When I move my neck, it's painful. So you're going to have to be patient with me. Not doing very well today, but all that pales into insignificance when I'm proud again of this movement and what we can achieve. And Warner Brothers right now cannot be very happy with the situation. They know how powerful we are. They keep on trying to launch their little bloggers and to scare us and to intimidate us, but it's not working. We are not going to stop. We are all powerful now. And we can damage HBO Max for you. HBO Max is the most important thing to Warner Brothers right now. Why not just announce that you're going to give Zack Snyder the money to finish off the Snyder Cut, to finish off Zack Snyder's Justice League, put it on there so we can all be friends. Now, this can be seen as a form of bullying, but sometimes a bully only understands one language. Now, I'm not saying or trying to say we should bully them or that we are bullying them, but at the end of the day, they are seeing the consumer's power. Because it isn't just the die-hard Zack Snyder fans who are doing this. It's now people who maybe didn't like Zack's work so much are now very, very intrigued about his Snyder Cut. So a really great event. The movement struck back again, especially after all the negativity of Fandom Wire's article and his articles last week. Now, one of the things that Fandom Wire tried to say is that in Wonder Woman 84, and especially in the Flashpoint movie, that they will delete Man of Steel and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice from the canon. A very serious accusation. I don't think that's the case, because let me just say this. If they did that, it would absolutely hurt our movement, but I'm sure we would be even more determined to make sure we kept on fighting. It would be a very, very sad day. But when I think about it, I can expose that rumour from Fandom Wire immediately. I've said it before. Shazam. Shazam had many, many Easter eggs. In fact, Freddie Freeman had many, many newspaper clippings from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Canon-wise, how do you delete that? I know you can do a Flashpoint story and say it's totally not there. It will be dumb. It will be stupid. And I tell you what, the toxicity, the reaction to that from our fandom would be like the fire-breathing dragon, like Smaug in the Lord of the Rings prequel, right? The second movie, whatever it's called, right? And so it would be a dumb move. It would hurt them. I think Warner Brothers actually understand now that they're in a bit of trouble over this. Their stubbornness not to embrace the movement, not to say, you know what, Sujihara made mistakes. He interfered in Batman v Superman. He interfered in Suicide Squad. He interfered with Justice League, and the results were devastating for Warner Brothers. They were devastating for any of us who love these characters and love these franchises, And so the logical kind of decision must be now to embrace the Snyder Cut, right? At least let us see this movie, even if you don't want anything to do after that with Zack Snyder. So they're in a bit of trouble. We have cornered them, and it's going to be interesting what happens, because if they don't... Look, the point is, right, 90% of Snyder DCEU fans are going to boycott HBO Max. Now, if you're losing money, Warner Media, because of a decision you've made, because of stubbornness against Zack Snyder's vision, which is much better than the vision you ultimately released in cinemas, you are losing money. You are starting to realise that this movement, us, is very powerful. And I've always said it, when the consumer stands up and says, enough, it's like the fandom menace. I used to really support the fandom menace, but then their politics became too much for me. And of course, I was attacked by one of them, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. And from that moment, I unfollowed all their YouTube channels and stopped supporting them, because once you attack someone with no reason, from a misunderstanding, then that movement ain't worth shit. So if I attack one of you who's part of this movement, who supported me and my channel because of a misunderstanding, and I don't step back and don't DM that person and say, do you know what, I was a bit wrong there. Maybe you said this and that, and I'd say, yeah, I said this and that, maybe I shouldn't. And the other person says they shouldn't have said it, then we move on. But what he did to me on Twitter that night, and I fought back, I believe I won. He certainly went running when I said I was going to expose him. He retweeted me so he could get his supporters to attack me. I wasn't attacked by many people because they knew at the end of the day he was in the wrong. But I will say this about the fandom menace. The fandom menace and the Release the Snyder Cut community have proven the power of the consumer. And the power of the consumer, we are the boss. We are in charge. They keep on talking about fan entitlement. We are entitled. We're the ones keeping you afloat. We are the reason that you're able to cast your daughters and your sons, your untalented daughters and sons, in films, in TV shows. This is the thing. In the early 2000s, Hollywood, especially when you look at TV, was beautiful. 24, Smallville, Lost, Prison Break. It was all about the product. It was all about giving the audience something. Then all of a sudden, Donald Trump gets elected and all hell breaks loose. And then the rise of the fandom menace was The Last Jedi. And we saw what's happened. So basically, the consumer has proven its power, our power. And the Release the Snyder Cut community keeps on showing the power. Without us, you have nothing. And my last message on this, before I continue on, I want to read some comments about Superman. I want to make a point about Zack's vision of Superman as well. Big Superman fan, as you all know. Is fan entitlement is there. Fan entitlement is right. We are the king. We are the boss. And if we boycott your products, you're in trouble. Now, you have lost a lot of money because of this lockdown, because of this pandemic. When you come back, you've got to throw away the ideology and the political commentary and screaming at men and putting men down, and the way you cast and the way you culturally swap characters. And think about this. First of all, create brand new, fresh characters, original characters for people of colour and other minorities that you don't represent. Greek Cypriots like me. When was the last time you saw a Greek Cypriot director or writer or actor, a prominent one? We're not there. So you need to create original stories and original characters for minorities. Not take away other characters and replace them with minorities. This is where the culture war is. You can't afford to be doing this anymore. You've lost a lot of money. It's about pleasing people. It's about entertaining people. It's about going back to what you did so well. I grew up with films like Field of Dreams, The Untouchables, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, JFK. Real cinema, real entertainment, real platforms. And when these films did make political statements like JFK, they were intelligent statements. And it wasn't just about the statements. It was about the art form as well. This is what we need to get back to. So Release the Snyder Cut. The movement is showing the power of fan entitlement, and fan entitlement is right. We are in charge. We are the kings, and without us, you have absolutely nothing. Right. This is a quote. This is an old quote from Zack Snyder, but I want to read it to you. The single point at which everything we know and everything we question exists in one place, the ultimate crossroads in the journey of discovering the true meaning of self, the collision point of science and religion and tangible and ethereal, physical and philosophical, the place where a question that may never truly have an answer can be embodied in a singular character. In many ways, that is the why of Superman. He always talked about, didn't he? The why of Superman. And, his ideas of Superman are very interesting, very intelligent, and embody his whole work, really. I wanted to get to a Superman that had a reason to be Superman, like a reason to feel the way he felt about humanity, that we all understand from the comic books. I repeat, from the comic books. I'm going to talk about this very shortly. I've just got one thing to say, a quote from Christopher Reeve. It is very hard for me to be silly about Superman because I've seen firsthand how he actually transforms people's lives. I have seen children dying of brain tumours who wanted as their last request to talk to me, and have gone to their graves with a peace brought on by knowing that their belief in the kind of character is intact. I've seen that Superman really matters. It's not Superman, the tongue-in-cheek cartoon character they're connecting with. They're connecting with something very basic. The ability to overcome obstacles, the ability to perceive, the ability to understand difficulty and to turn your back on it, Christopher Reeve. So, beautiful. Reeve always knew how to talk about Superman, and for me, that's what Superman is. This is what Superman means. He's so much more than the S, but that's his shield. That's how we see him. But he is a body of hope. That from something very negative like him losing his whole people and his family and his planet, he can be brought up by these ordinary working class people and be the greatest hero in the world. Superman is so important, and that's why he's so important to me. Now, going back to what Zach was saying, the whole idea of Man of Steel and even BVS was to show us Superman's prolonged origin story. And once he did that, and once he gave us what he was going to do in his vision for Justice League, Superman was going to be the comic book Superman. He just wanted to give us a reason for Superman being Superman. That's logical. It makes sense. And I'll never understand the hatred for that. And it works. Ultimately, that scene in Justice League when he pulls off the shirt and he flies, Zack shot that. We know that. That's the moment he becomes the comic book Superman. And then the next film would have been made, and the next film. And then we would have seen the true blue Superman, the one that people complained we didn't get in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. He's already explained why he didn't do that from the off and how he was going to get there. Genius. Intellect. Amazing. I want you to comment down below. Are you proud of yourselves? Are you happy with what's going on with the movement? Do you think we can carry on fighting Warner Brothers? And what does this all mean for HBO Max? Will people truly boycott the platform until the Snyder Cut of Justice League is actually released? It's very interesting because I can't actually get it because I'm not in America. So I'm in an interesting place. But I will say this. I think they are in trouble. They are seeing the power of our movement. And the more we go on, the deeper we fight. Ultimately, Warner Brothers will be left with no other option but to release the Snyder Cut. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon. I need to go back to bed.